All right, so today we're working on the Jeep some. I think we talked about this before, but we are going on a family trip. So it's the first time ever that all 6 of us are going on a 4-wheel drive trip, and it's coming up at the end of April. So this is a trip that we've gone on before, but you guys have seen videos before, but it's the first time that the whole family is going, so I'm super excited about it. But we've got a lot to do to get the Jeep ready, and time is kind of winding down. Next week, we start loading out the hog barns, which is always a super busy time. It's hard to get some extra stuff done when that's going on. That lasts for about 8 weeks. So I thought, well, we better get this Jeep finished up so we can check that off the list. So we have a couple things to do on the Jeep. You saw us before working at moving the rear axle rearward. So we had taken it over to get some weights, and the weights were for custom springs, and we just got the custom springs this week. So we're getting ready to put them in, but there's a couple things that we had to get done ahead of that. And the one thing was we had to address some issues in the transfer case. I don't know if you guys remember, but last year on the Kentucky trip, we had some trouble with the transfer case. We found that there was too much slop in the gear mesh between 2 gears, and so we had to make a washer out of some scrap steel, and here's the washer. So I just dug this thing out. It was buried in the center of the transfer case. We got that all torn apart. We pulled the transfer case out. We took this thing out. We figured out what the problem was, and we also added some real washers in there and kind of fixed that up. Put it all back together, and so the transfer case is back in place now. I gotta remember to top it off with gear oil. Don't let me forget that. But other than that, I think it's ready to go. So once that was back in place, then we can put the skid plate back in, and we can start moving the Jeep around to get the rear axle position. So when we took off the old springs, we realized that the spring hangers were pretty worn out. The bolt holes were kind of like oblong shape, and so we decided to put new spring hangers on. But when we went to put new spring hangers on, we realized that the frame was getting a little bit rusty right in the corner there. So we beefed up the frame right in here by the wheel well. There's a spot right here, I'll get it, that we put a new plate on, so that's ready to go. And now we can mount the new spring hangers. So that's the front spring hangers, and then we went to the back spring hangers, and we realized that there's also some rust issues there. So there's a little piece, there's 2 holes that are in the frame that have threaded inserts in them, and when I took it apart, that just fell out. So it actually had started to become a problem at the Kentucky trip last year, actually, but we had kind of just welded it in place to get going for the day. But at any rate, we got to fix that too. So today we're gonna fix up the rear spring hangers, and hopefully we're gonna get the front spring hangers in place and weld it up, and then we'll be ready to put the springs in. So these are our new rear spring perches. This is the block that we're going to use to reinforce the area where the frame was rotted out. So on the frame here, we already cut this out to make room for those nuts to fit up inside, and then that whole block is going to fit right up on there. We also had to cut the axle perches, the spring perches off the axle. And so we got those here. They're cut off because the new position of the axle on the spring, on the arch of the spring, changed the angle a little bit. So we need to cut the perches off. We're gonna roll the axle back to the angle that we need to get the driveline that we need, and then we can weld them back in place. So another thing we did get done is I did get the fender flares extended, which worked out perfectly. We, because we're moving the axle backward, or moving the axle rearward, we had to kind of like modify the end of the fender flare here a little bit. And it worked out perfect to take 6 inches out of the tail end here and put it in the middle here. And that stretched out our fender flare. And I think they're about ready to put back on. So here's our fender flare. We took out 6 inches right here and we put that same piece in right here. So that stretched out our overall length by 6 inches, and it shortened the tail of it, which we needed to do anyway because the tub is, the end of the tub is right there now. Another thing we've been working at is this custom gas tank. So part of the problem with moving the axle back was we were already against the gas tank, so we had to figure out a way to make room for the axle to come back and still have a gas tank down there, because we can't put the gas tank up top, because the whole point of this extended cage was to make more room for people. We need to fit all 6 of us. So what we did was we made a custom skid plate, and we kind of created this like concave area in the skid plate. And then we took our polyethylene tank and we heated it up and we squished it down into the new skid plate. I've read some articles about people doing this on Pirate 4x4, and so I thought we'd give it a shot, and it worked out pretty good. We have a big dent in our tank now that fits over this area that we made for basically for this diff to have clearance. So anyway, we're gonna finish putting that back together. I'm gonna put the tank in, put the pump on, and I think we're ready to bolt that back up in there. But we'll do that a while since we have good access in there with the axle out and the leaf springs out. Then hopefully we can put the springs in and sit this thing down and start getting it put back together.
A little sword, at least attempting to.
One of these guys. It's to one of the games that we made.
Oh, cool.
We'll have to show you it when it's done.
So we're working on the RC car with the old motors. They were overheating for whatever reason. And
I had to go find a smaller Allen wrench because these are teeny tiny little Allen heads. I
for
think
Christmas,
I got the right one.
Dad got us a new motor for it. And we never got the chance to take it apart yet and put that in. So we're doing that now.
So we're working on the big rock crawler and we're working on the little rock crawler because both of them need to be ready to go to Kentucky.
It's gonna be the first trip taking it somewhere other than the farm. We'll have to show you the track then, going like that. So, trying to get this motor out and replace it. That way we can bring it to Kentucky. Do some wheeling with both of them. They were having some problems with these Allen wrenches that I found in the basement, and they were actually Dad's, or used to be. And they're all like, there's some missing, and there's some that are stripped and messed up. See, this is the old motor that was in here in the beginning when we got the RC car. And when that started overheating, I took it apart and put a spare one in. And it lasted a little while until it started also overheating. And then, so yeah, now we're putting this new motor in. Hopefully it will be better. It's more like a lower gear on the new motor. That way it won't be like trying to go so fast. It'll more be trying to get up the hill rather than speed up the hill.
I just pulled up here to a place that I staged about a month ago, and it's already sold or under contract. They had the appraisal done, so they said I could come and start getting my stuff out. So I didn't know if this stuff is fun for you guys to come along and take a look at. I think it's fun, and maybe there's some wives out there that think it's fun that are watching this. So thought I'd bring you along, see how I staged it. Then maybe you can see what it looks like afterwards. It's always just fun to see how much staging does really make a difference. So hope you guys like it. Enjoy it. So here is how I set it up in the living room. Comes over here to the dining room. Kitchen. Goes back to the bathroom. And up here I just did the master bedroom. This little corner over here. So this. Okay, so you want to see a little trick here? Show you what I've done. This is actually an air mattress that I just put some crates under. I don't know if you can see the crates under there or not. The one fell. But I don't actually have like an extra bed frame or anything, or then I don't have to be carrying around a big mattress. I just blow up the air mattress and set it up on the crates and make it look like it's a regular size bed. And then just a little something over here in this bathroom. So that's it. We'll get all the stuff out of here. This couch actually comes apart in pieces. It was just like, I don't know, a cheaper couch that I could buy off of, I think I got it at Walmart. And so just needs to look pretty. Doesn't need to be something that you're sitting on all the time. But anyway, I am usually doing this by myself. So it's nice that this comes apart so I can carry it out by myself. Here we go. So like this back piece comes off and then the sides come off here. There we go. So then that comes off. And then it's kind of like you just have this bottom part then that I'll to carry out. So it's nice that it does that in sections. Okay guys, I am done for now. You can see I have a few things left here in the living room. I have the table and chairs in the dining room. And there's 2 chairs that I need to get out of here yet, but I just do not have any more room in my car. So I'll have to come back again, get this stuff out of here. And I'm hot and sweaty. This is a good workout because you're going up and down stairs, you're carrying things out. And the bummer thing is now I have to go and unload all of this. So you get it all loaded up just to take it all back out again. But it's worth it. It's fun.
Today we're at the Lancaster County 4-H career event day here at the Farm and Home Center. So we're here mainly because we wanted to be a voice for on-farm roles when we talk about careers for young kids. The on-farm roles are so valuable in any agribusiness, and I feel like they're often not really talked about. So we thought, hey, if we have an opportunity to talk a little bit about on-farm jobs in a career path, we would do it. So here we are at the career event. Lots of kids coming around and checking out the booth.
Just go say hi to that group of kids over there.
This is our people at this table over here. It's been fun.